to sell this? I might just keep it. I'm Mura Masa, and today we're going to be looking at Bloom Mura Masa, which is a new plugin that I've developed with Excite Audio. We're here in my home studio and we're going to make some music. So let's get it. It's a sequencer, it's a sampler, it's got built-in effects. Here we have the main screen, which is where the curves are created. Here, as you can see. Wow, that looks good. I guess the main engine of the whole thing is these white keys down here, which contain samples. Now, what are the samples? They are audio from my record, Curve 1, along with some offcuts and stuff from my private collection that I want to give to you guys so you can make bangers. So the idea is you drag these samples onto these slots, and then these white notes become triggerable via MIDI. And for this whole video, I'm just going to use the plugin. There's no outboard processing, there's no effects. So everything that we're going to hear today is just coming out of the plugin. They're kind of divided into these banks. And then let's take a listen. Obviously, these are drums. We've got some bass sounds. Some kind of more long-form drum loops. That's a weapon. Basically, this whole video is just going to be me being gassed about how good this plugin turned out. We've got some synths. Kind of some more melodic sounds. And then up here we got textures, kind of more effects style sounds. So a lot of stuff. It's kind of like a mini DAW. Let's talk about the black keys, or the red keys in this case. These 5 at the end contain sequences that I have programmed. They basically contain, between the 5 of them, essentially whole songs, percussion patterns, chord patterns, things like that. So if we play... I mean, you could release that and probably get a few DJ bookings just off of that. And they're all kind of, between the 5 of them, they're variations on patterns or like different ideas using the samples that are loaded. The way we create those presets is in here, in the edit. So now we're getting into the sort of the engine of the whole thing, which is this sampler and sequencer combination. Within the sample editor, over here you've got like pitch adjustments. Formant knob is really interesting. Attack, release, pan, volume, you know what I'm talking about. BPM warp, which will quantize the longer samples or the rhythmic samples to the BPM of your project. Which makes the whole thing extremely versatile. And then within this sample editor, we can kind of, select a little section, maybe make it so that it goes on forever if we hold the button. Over here, we have different playback modes. If you just want the sample to be a one-shot, for example, and then it'll just play through. You can play the sample back at double speed or half speed if you want a different kind of timbre, if you're trying to adjust the rhythm of like a longer percussive section. Kind of gives it that pull stretch kind of feel, like the old school, sequencer feel. There's choke groups, so if I want this sample to choke out this one, then I can link them in that way. I should say also you can change the grid size here, so if I just want a tiny, tiny slice. It's too much fun. Nice. Yeah, or you can just turn the grid off and get some more unpredictable areas of rhythm. Nice. Let's talk about the sequencer. For example, we're listening to the A pattern here. And if I open this sequencer, you can see this sequence that I've created. And within this sequencer, you can kind of, you can automate things like velocity, the pitch of the sample. There's not particularly any variation in this patch. The attack and release of the samples, the timing, if you want a bit of push and pull on like a percussive thing. Yeah, there's lots of maneuverability in the sequencer. And from here as well, you can solo and mute different parts if you just want a certain part of each sequence. Maybe I want to just lift that and kind of resample that and put it into a song. And then within the sequencer, you kind of have all these controls, swing, step rate. For example, if I load up a patch that I made that just has some drum fills, you can see that these are short sequences. They don't loop by just varying the grid size. Hell yeah. These 4 sliders are macro kind of effects that we designed to evoke processes that I was using when I was making Curve 1. And they're just kind of combinations of effects that I find really interesting. So for example, terminal, which is kind of like an overdrive. This is peak, which is a kind of, it's like a dotted 8th note delay type vibe. It's nice. This is angle, which is a kind of mod process. It's like a bit of chorus, a bit of like room reverb, that kind of thing. And then this is sides, which is just a kind of doubler stereo field effect. Nice. So for each of these inbuilt effects, A, you can reorder them. So if you want a specific type of chain that they're running through, you can do that. And B, they all have kind of extended parameters. So within the mod, you've got your chorus, vibrato, flanger. Reverb, we've got hall reverb, plate reverb, and spring reverb. Nice. With the speaker, you can pick from a few different emulations. Another thing I should talk about is this little guy down here, which is the key selector. So let's say I'm working on a song and it's in G major, and I find a patch I really like. By selecting the key, everything is kind of linked and pitch mapped. The most important thing about this plugin for me is the kind of presets, and I've made these ones that are labeled MM are ones that I've programmed. There's just so much useful stuff in here. The presets are divided into these subcategories. There's song starters, melodic, percussive effects, kind of textures all layered on to create something that's like a good starting point for a song, or maybe you just want to lift part of it out or whatever. And And then again, we have these different variations on the sequence. So that's an example of a song starter. We've got bass lines, which are dedicated bass patches. You can use the kind of pre-programmed sequences if you want, or you can kind of utilize these presets as MIDI instruments. There's experimental patches, which are some of my favorites, which are just mangling the samples into weird shapes. Melodic. These are, well, the melodic ones. Also on my patches, I have these kind of suggested BPMs. They were just the BPMs I made the sequences at. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. But maybe I want to change the key. Percussive. I mean, these are drum loops. These are drum kits as far as the white keys go. And I'm just jamming around on the white keys. There's also the sequences, obviously. Wow, good stuff. Synths, that's kind of, you know, patches that are designed for playing as if they were synths. I mean, it's just so easy to get an instantly good result. And then textures, these are kind of for layering in the background or kind of more sound designy textural. Nice. So, all that being said, there's a lot of information. It's a deep program. It has a lot of use cases. I think most people would be using it to kind of lift sequences or, you know, to sort of add things to existing work. But there's also the possibility to create like entire songs. All right, let's make a song. Let's stop talking about it and do it. And let's start with some drums. Here we go. I'm just going to record that in. And as I was doing that, I was kind of hitting some of the white keys over the sequence just to create some variation. Let's get some texture in there. Let's try FX hits. Sounds great already. Let's hit it. Maybe there's some melody that comes in. Let's try liquid. It's like I'm floating. Yeah, let's hit that. All right, I kind of liked that bit at the end, with a bit of white keys in there. Maybe we'll cut this sequence short on the last beat. for a bit of tension. All right, new track. Let's find a drum fill. That sounds like it's gonna fit. Let's hit that in. It's free, man. It's cheating. All right, we need a bass line if we really want this to get jumping. Let's try bus flow. Let's see how that sounds. This is gonna work out. It's all gonna be okay, guys. Good stuff. Maybe just drums and bass for the next section. Hit another one of those drum fills, maybe. That sounds good. So let's say I'm jamming along on this idea, and maybe I don't like the drums anymore. I have the option to swap out the samples individually, or I could just find another patch here, another preset, and just see what it sounds like. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? Do we have to sell this? I might just keep it. Maybe I'll just keep it. And remember, everything is tempo mapped and key mapped. So if I want this to suddenly be, 150 instead of 135. I can just delete the whole thing and not even feel bad about it, because we're gonna make another one straight away. Let's try a song starter. You know what? Sounds really good, but I kind of feel like making my own sequence out of these sounds. And I'm gonna do that by just playing in the white keys. That'll do. Let's do another percussion track. And the thing is, you could bounce this down or resample it into another track and just quick export it, put it in a folder, and you've got, a fresh percussion loop ready for deployment, Let's get some rain in here. Or, you know what? Let's get some birds. Sounds good. Let's hit stretcher. That sounds good. Theory confirmed. It does sound good. And maybe to finish, some bass. Exfil sounds good. Boom. It's gone. It's lost. You have to make your own version. So yeah, that's the long and short of it. I feel like we didn't even really get into it. There's so much you can do with this stuff. Super looking forward to hearing what you guys end up doing with it, and for you to play with this thing that we've been working on for months and months and months. That's kind of it. Bye.